I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me. Yeah, wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine.
Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Since it's Monday and we did a Wrestlemania Night 1 review yesterday, I was going to do a Wrestlemania Night 2 review today, but I know a lot of people don't watch it when it comes on. They record it and watch it sometime later on in the week when they have a chance. So I'm not going to do a Wrestlemania Night 2 review today, but we will talk about it coming up sometime before the week is out. I'm trying to let everybody who wants to watch it before I talk about it. Today's video is going to be a 2-in-1. We're going to talk some college football and we're going to talk NASCAR. I need to go ahead and talk NASCAR because they're back on track Thursday night this week. Truck Series is Thursday night, Xfinity Series is Friday night, and the Cup Series is Saturday night. It's the first night race of the year. They will be at Martinsville Speedway. So since they're back in action on Thursday night, I need to go ahead and talk about yesterday's Cup race. It was the 7th race of the season, and we now have 7 different winners this season, which is about as good as you can get if you don't like seeing the same driver win all the time. 7 races, 7 winners. Denny Hamlin got his 47th career win and his 4th career win at his home track since they were in Richmond yesterday, and he is from Chesterfield, Virginia. Kevin Harvick comes home 2nd. William Byron 3rd. Martin Truex Jr. was 4th, and Kyle Larson was 5th. 6 through 10 was Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon. And I personally thought it was another great race, but of course they were at Richmond, and they're at Martinsville this weekend and Bristol next weekend, and I'm a huge fan of short track racing. Now, if you look at the overall points right now, 7 races in, Ryan Blaney is the current points leader, but of course he has not won a race yet. He runs up front every week. He just does not win. But he has accumulated the most points overall so far. But of course, when they do start going by who has the most wins, he will not be the leader unless he wins a race between now and then. But normally right around race 10 or 11, they start going by wins and not just points. But as of right now, Ryan Blaney has racked up the most points this year. He just has not won a race as of yet. But I do feel like he'll win 1 or 2 before the chase starts because he's running up front every week. He's just not winning. But Denny Hamlin has now reached the top 20 because of that win yesterday. His first 6 races this year were absolutely pitiful, but maybe that'll be the turning point on his season. Any thoughts on the race yesterday, please feel free to let me know. And then 2 weeks ago, I did my first preview as far as giving you my prediction on a college football team's win-loss record this year when I did Florida State. And of course, Florida State is in the ACC. I figured it was time to do another one. And since Florida State was in the ACC, I would do one this time around from the SEC. and no particular reason why I picked this team. I just sat down and started looking at schedules and thought, which team do I want to do? And I thought, I'll do Tennessee. So that's who I'm going to do. So if you're a college football fan, you'll enjoy this video because it's never too early to start discussing college football. Now, we know Tennessee is heading into year number 2 under Josh Heupel, and Hendon Hooker will be their starting quarterback again unless he gets hurt between now and the regular season. Jabari Small is more than likely going to be their starting running back, but most of the guys behind him transferred as far as guys that were high on the depth chart. So the number 2 running back is probably going to be a freshman by the name of Justin Williams. They're very high on him, and he is really good. And the 3rd running back will probably be Jalen Wright, but we know Tennessee is going to run 100-plus plays a game, so all the running backs will get plenty of snaps and plenty of carries. But I do think Jabari Small, Justin Williams, and Jalen Wright will be the top 3. Looking over their schedule, their 4 non-conference games are Ball State, Pittsburgh, Akron, and Tennessee Martin. Obviously, the only one they would lose out of those 4 is Pittsburgh, who they did lose to last year. But Pittsburgh, of course, has not only lost their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, they also lost their offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, when he resigned, and then the next day left to go to Nebraska and become their offensive coordinator. So I don't think Pittsburgh will be near as good this year. And I know Tennessee almost always loses to Florida. That game is pretty much an automatic loss for Tennessee every year, an automatic win for Florida every year. But they play in week 4 this year, and so far I'm not sold on Billy Napier at all. And then 2 weeks ago, Florida's quarterback, Emory Jones, came out and said he was transferring. So there's still a lot going on at Florida. But I do think since Tennessee always struggles against Florida, if that game was week 9 or 10, then I think Florida would beat them. But I think since it's in week 4 and Florida's going through so many changes, I think Tennessee will beat Florida this year. Their first 4 games are Ball State, Pittsburgh, Akron, and Florida. And then they have their bye week in week 5 after Florida. And then they start the heart of SEC play with back-to-back conference games against LSU and Alabama before playing Tennessee Martin in week number 8. But I think they'll beat Ball State and Pittsburgh and Akron and Florida. And I also think they'll beat LSU. My personal opinion, looking over their schedule right now, I think they lose to Alabama. I think they lose to Georgia. And I also think they'll lose to South Carolina. I don't know why, but it seems like Tennessee and South Carolina, no matter how good or how bad either team is, that game comes down to the wire every year. And I think Spencer Rattler is a good enough quarterback with the way Tennessee just does not play defense that I think South Carolina will outscore them. So I think they'll lose that game as well. So I think they'll lose to Alabama and Georgia and South Carolina, and I think they'll win every other game. So I've got them going 5-3 in the SEC, 9-3 overall, winning all 4 of their non-conference games. So if they go 5-3 in the SEC, 9-3 overall, they're definitely heading in the right direction in year number 2 under Josh Heupel. The only bad news is if I'm right and they go 9-3, is for Tennessee fans from this point forward, Josh Heupel will be able to do no right. Because if they go 9-3 in year number 2, they're going to expect at least 10 wins next year. And I'm just not sure if they're quite ready for that yet. I think Josh Heupel's a great coach. And I think Josh Heupel tries to play defense. He's not one of those coaches that you see a lot in modern day football who just doesn't care about defense. I think he actually cares and he wants to play defense, but I think he focuses so much on offense that he just can't recruit on defense the way he can on offense. So he needs the help of his defensive coaches to make the defense better, because I don't think he knows that much about it. So I think over time their defense will get better, but I just don't think right now that they're ready for a 10 or 11 win season. And you're going to have some kind of defense if you're going to have a 10 or 11 win season. And if you go 9-3 in year 2, then your fans are going to expect double-digit wins in year 3, and I just don't think they're ready yet. But looking over their schedule, their offense is so good, it's hard for me to find a loss on the schedule outside of Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, because I just don't think anybody else on their schedule is as good as they are. I'd probably pick Pittsburgh to beat them again if they still had Mark Whipple, but you've got a new quarterback and a new coordinator, and you're playing in week 2, so your quarterback and your coordinator have no time to gel together. So for that reason, I don't think Pittsburgh beats Tennessee. If they play Tennessee in week 12, I'd probably pick Pittsburgh, but not in week 2. So any thoughts on what Tennessee would do this year, please feel free to let me know. Again, I've got them going 5-3 in the SEC with losses to Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, and 9-3 overall, winning all 4 of their non-conference games against Ball State, Pittsburgh, Akron, and Tennessee Martin. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What do you call a criminal landing an airplane? Condescending. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.